She goes, "Oh, it looks like twins. You have twins." And that was the first we kind of even thought of having twins. We always knew it was a possibility. My mom's an identical twin, but I honestly didn't think it would happen. Everybody kept saying, you know, "You're doing great, you're doing great, you're doing great." And so the idea that the boys weren't going to come out healthy, I don't think I ever fully wrapped my head around.
The first 26, 28-week appointments were great. I probably have an entire photo album just of ultrasound pictures.
At 28 weeks, I kept thinking, let's make it to 30. And at 30 weeks, I thought, let's make it to 32. And at 32, 34. And when that 36 week was in sight, it almost seemed like, of course we were going to make it there.
You know, I began to hope every time the cell phone rang that it wasn't her, because there was always a chance that if it was, that this was, you know, it was that day. My phone rang, people knew that I was getting up and I was leaving, and that I may not be coming back.
It came crashing down on us that we weren't going to make it 36 weeks. I remember putting my hand on my side here, and this is where baby B was. And I said, something's wrong. And about that time, a bunch of nurses came running in, and all my alarms had been sounding, and we lost a heart rate on baby B.
I remember going home and seeing an empty crib, and thinking that just wasn't right, that our baby should have been in that crib in our bedroom, and that was really hard. I know it was best for them to stay there where they had access to all the machinery, all the heart monitors 24/7, constant supervision, making sure that they were doing okay, and all the technology that they had them hooked into, it was the best for them.
This is as bad as it's going to get, and it's only going to get better from here. And a couple days after they were born, we went in at 6 a.m. for the feeding, and they were worse. Their birth weights were down. It dropped lower than they were the day before, even more. They couldn't hold their own body temperature anymore, and they had blown all the veins in their hands and their feet. And the nurses were preparing us for them putting an IV in their forehead. And looking back on it now, it was the best place for the IV. It kept them out of their hands and feet. It didn't get tangled up. It was easier for me to nurse. But you never want to see a needle in your baby's head. And that was kind of our breaking point. Our boys might not have made it. And actually through the March of Dimes, I went and spoke and told our story at a kickoff meeting, and it was at a retirement community. And this lady walked up to us afterwards and said, "Can I just see your boys? I need to see them." And I said, "Sure." And she goes, "My boys would have been 43 this year." And her story was my story. She went in at 35 weeks. Her boys were premature, twin boys, and she lost both of them. And the difference in 43 years that I was able to keep my babies and she wasn't able to is huge.
Yeah, the technology will help you, and it'll give your baby the best start if you don't have that opportunity to make it 39 weeks. You know, we didn't have the opportunity to make it 39 weeks. And it's just so important for people to understand that that's what they need to get to.
We have our hard days, and I go back and think, at least I have the hard days to have. I have to take even the hard days, and they're ornery 2.5-year-old boys, with the same love that I take my good days. Because they're amazing. We're a happy story. We're a successful story. We have our boys, we brought them home, and so thank you to the March of Dimes for doing the research and for putting the message out there that one day every baby should be born healthy.
Hi, I'm Kyle Willers from Lockheed Martin. As a presenting sponsor, I welcome each of you to the 25th Annual March of Dimes Signature Chef Auction. Lockheed Martin is honored to have you join us to celebrate with March of Dimes.
Good evening. I'm Frank Armiel, President of the Mission Support Alliance, and I'd like to welcome you to the March of Dimes 25th Annual Signature Chef Auction. The Mission Support Alliance supports the March of Dimes because, like many of you, we want all babies born healthy. We want to raise as much money as we can tonight and support this year's March of Dimes. So please raise your paddle, make a difference, and help us make this community a leader in helping babies be born healthy.